Hey, how you doing today? My name is Relyea and thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to do like a little bit of a thought experiment, kinda sorta. We're going to be taking a look at the Grubfather and what happens when you collect all of the grubs. If you have not already collected all of the grubs, this is going to be kind of spoiler territory, so you can go ahead and click away now. If you have collected all of the grubs, you already know what happens, and you know what we're going to see when we get into the next room. This is your last chance to click away. So as you can see, when we make our way into this room here, we've got the Grubfather, and after you've collected all 46 grubs, he eats them. He does something. They're inside there. You can hear them cooing, and they actually sound pretty happy, which is actually a good thing. So my very first theory on what's going on here is that the Grubfather is the one who's going to go through metamorphosis. And my original theory for this was that, well, the Grubfather is the oldest one. And if he's the oldest, he's the one who's most likely going to be going through metamorphosis, right? So the only reason that this wouldn't be true is maybe the male grubs don't go through metamorphosis, or maybe he just didn't go through metamorphosis in the prime of his life. Maybe he just missed the boat. Maybe a grub didn't come and eat him, so he didn't get to go through metamorphosis. I don't know, but my first theory is maybe he is gonna he ate all of them so he could turn into something. The second thing that could be going on here is that maybe it's only the female grubs that actually get to go through metamorphosis, and the Grubfather is actually just here as a cocoon, and they are all gonna go through metamorphosis. And so I feel like that's probably what's going on. And so if we take a look at the charms, you get two charms as you go through this, right? The first one's Grub Song, and it contains the gratitude of the freed grubs. So it's actually the grubs' gratitude that is in the charm, right? And the second charm that we have here is Grubberfly's Elegy. And so it contains the gratitude of the grubs who will move on to the next stage of their lives. So it's actually the grubs who move on to the next stage of their life. So it makes it pretty clear Grubfather's probably not going to make it through this. I've got this like morbid idea of the little grubs just like bursting from his body, and it's not very pretty. It's either that or they eat their way out. One of the two. Either option's not looking too good for the Grubfather, but He seems to have done it willingly, though, so that's good. Thank you, Mr. Grubfather. So it imbues your weapon with a holy strength. When the bearer is at full health, they will fire beams of white-hot energy from their nail. And I thought that was interesting that they fire white-hot energy from their nail. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of the radiance for one reason or another. So that brings me up to theory number 3. For what do these little grubs even turn into? Well, I was thinking that more than likely they're going to turn into something from this charm. I mean, it looks like a grubberfly. It's a grub that just sprouted out wings, 3 on either side, and now they can fly. So there's grubberflies, but we've never seen a grubberfly in the game, so it's kind of hard to say that's for sure what they turn into. But I mean, they gave us this charm, so I mean, they must know what they turn into, right? I mean, that only makes sense. It would make sense that they turn into grubberflies, right? The other option is that the grubs actually turn into the radiants, or maybe several different radiants. Radii? Not radiol. Radiances. Radii. Let's go with that one. Maybe they turn into the moths of the Radiance style, and the whole reason is because the collector had picked up all of the grubs and separated them throughout the land. They put them all over the place. I mean, he could have put them anywhere. I mean, what other reason would he keep them separate? The only reason that we keep the grubs separate is so they don't actually have a chance to metamorphosize, right? I think that's kind of strange. But if you actually go, okay, let's go show you something. All right, so from here in the White Palace, I'm gonna cheat to make this a little bit easier. When you jump down and get to this point over here, there's actually a secret room over to the right. There used to be spikes that you could pogo to get up here, but you can't. I don't think you can go that way anymore. So if you start from the top, once you make your way over to here, there's a balcony where you'd normally go up. You can actually kind of fall down, crystal heart over and come around, and then crystal heart over and come around again, and you make your way into the secret room. So once you get into here, And make your way all the way to the end. I believe this is called the King's Workstation. And this right here looks an awful lot like the Collector. And as you can see, like there's like the King's molds and stuff, right? And so maybe the Collector is just a King's mold who just went like a little bit crazy, right? And so his directive is to serve. And so he is trying to serve the best that he can, and for some reason he feels like he needs to protect the Grubs or separate them or something like that. I don't know. I think that the void or whatever that was used on him just got to his head and he went a little bit crazy. I don't know. So another interesting thing is that if you actually dream nail the Collector, he's got 3 different things that it'll say. My love, protected at last. The second one is, it must be saved. And the third one is, a safe space for you and you and you. So I have a feeling that if the Collector is trying to protect the kingdom, like that is his like primary directive, I think that maybe he just went a little bit overboard, and maybe that's why he's protecting these Grubs, and he's keeping them separate so they don't turn into the Radiants and do something bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching here. I could be stretching by quite a bit. That's just my thought. All right, so the last theory that I had is I was just thinking about how hard it would be for these Grubs to turn into any sort of either butterfly or moth. I mean, they can't turn into a Radiance, and that is because Grubs don't turn into moths. Grubs don't turn into butterflies either. You know what Grubs turn into? I actually Googled it. I had to find out. Grubs turn into beetles, which I thought was super interesting because we haven't seen really beetles except for maybe the Dung Defenders. Is he kind of like a beetle? I don't know. But either way, they don't really seem like they're very. I can't imagine these things being very mothy once they hatch, if at all. Either they're going to be a grubberfly or a beetle. So I reached out to Mossbag. I asked him, what do you think about the Grubs turning into beetles, because they are Grubs and they're not going to turn into butterflies or moths. They can't turn into the Radiants. And he basically said Grubs turn into grubberflies, hence the charm name Grubberfly's Elegy. It's usually not a good idea to use actual insect biology to analyze Hollow Knight lore, since bugs in Hollow Knight only vaguely take inspiration from actual biology. And then it just kind of hit me that I really shouldn't be trying to do lore. I have no idea what I'm doing. You guys should go back to watching Mossbag. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be here. I'm gonna let myself out.